everyone, and welcome back to Talk Wordy, my hub for all of the words that I read, write, or otherwise want to yap about. Today, I have a very special author guest on the pod. They are the New York Times and USA Today best-selling author duo of over 40 romance titles, and their newest release, The 15-Minute Rule, is out now. Please welcome Max and Monroe, otherwise known as Max Monroe.
Thanks for having us.
I
We're so excited.
love interviewing author duos because I think the process has to take on this kind of new shape. And also
hmm
I feel like I've been extra chatty with you guys before starting the episode, so this is very fun. Really what I would prefer.
Yeah, we're very chatty gals.
We bring out the chat in a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so before we actually get into all the questions about you guys and your books,
hmm
what I like to do with my guests is talk about what we are reading, watching, and listening to.
hmm
We'll kind of go first so we get through the swing of things. Reading wise, I for the first time in several months, I'm actually reading my book club's pick. Um, being I'm Caller by BK Borison. We
Okay.
Good Spirits for our Christmas book club, and it was the first BK Borison book I had ever read, and it was so cute. I loved it, and so I'm on First Time Caller, and then I'll probably graduate to and Now Back to You, I think is the title.
hmm
So cute. Her writing style is just very candid, very easy. I
Yeah.
love it. So I've been reading that. What about you guys? What have you been reading?
Well, you want me to go first or you going
Yeah,
first?
whatever. Go ahead.
I finally just finished The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. So since we write romance, especially if we're in the middle of a project, I tend to not read other romance books. It like kind of messes with my creativity with romance. So yeah, I finally read The Housemaid. That was good. I need to see the movie now. So yeah, that's what I recently just finished.
I just saw the movie and I have not read the book, which is like normally not my MO. I would
Yeah.
do that, but um I just so happens that you read the book and I saw the movie.
We
But
didn't even know that that was going on, but that is
no,
hilarious.
yeah, which is funny. Because normally we would be the opposites on that probably,
Probably.
but reading wise, like her, we're pretty strict with ourselves about what we're allowed to just by our own like for our own sanity read while we're also writing, and we happen to be on a lot of deadlines pretty much like all the time. But I actually recently read the last book I read that wasn't our stuff was Kim
Yeah.
Holden is our really good friend, and like she's probably also the sweetest human on earth if you've not
hmm
had a chance to meet her. I don't know how to describe someone that's like ethereal because she's like that, she emanates that kind of peace and goodness like at all times.
Yes.
But that's her. And so she just wrote her first book in and released her first book in 7 years. She was one of like the original like wave of authors, and she just released a book and she let us read it before she released it.
hmm
Eye for an Eye, and that's the last book I read other than our stuff. So, yeah.
Love that. Honestly, fair. I feel like I'm such a big mood writer, but then whatever
hmm
I will be reading the dead opposite. So like
Yes.
I am in my romance bag right now, but I'm about to go on sub with another romance project. So I'm like, what is the wackiest manuscript I could write so I can read fluffy romance? Because I miss um
Yes.
yeah, so BK Borson is great. And then oh my gosh, you had said something. Oh, I haven't seen The Housemaid. But
No.
I haven't read it either. I'm a scaredy cat when it comes to books. I books, if they're like horror or thriller, they scare me more than movies. So
Mhm.
I'll probably
Really?
yes. I think it's just because you like have to fully immerse yourself into a book.
Mhm.
in a movie, you could, you can always pull out your phone or like not look at the screen. Whereas when you're reading a book, like you're in there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
you're
Like,
creating the
yeah,
scene to your personal, like that is how it works. So I could see. Plus, a
I
book
can see
is
that.
so detailed in some of the ways that a movie can't be.
mhm,
So,
Hmm.
yeah, I can see that for sure.
yeah. Um,
The housemaid reading it, I mean, it's definitely a thriller. Like, I can't do horror movies or horror novels. There's no way. That is too much for me. Like, especially when it's like paranormal, scary movie. No, no, no. That's too much. But the housemaid book experience is definitely a thriller. Her writing is great in that I feel like she can move a scene and give you a lot of information with the least amount of words, which is always, I always love that. I think that's such a fantastic way of writing, especially certain types of scenes. So I think, the writing is great. I get why people really love reading her books. They're kind of like like a crack, like thriller crack. Because once you start reading, you will finish the whole book. Um, so yeah, I don't think I was, and I'm not, I'm not very brave when it comes to scary stuff. So I did fine with it.
It's
I
like a
wasn't
mind
like,
game.
okay.
Yeah, I think I
yeah,
can handle the mind games more than the like.
The slasher gore.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
I can rock with that. Um,
yeah.
also vein of like not reading romance when we're writing romance, I will say
Hmm.
started an audiobook. This is my like listening to. Mind you, I love dad rock. I've been listening to a ton of dad rock, but mainly I've been listening to the audiobook of A Stage Set for Villains. If you've heard of that book, it
Okay.
came out
Uh-uh.
instant New York Times bestseller. Like Amazon just picked up the movie rights. I don't, nothing's greenlit, but they acquired the rights.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
I think the author, I think her name is Shannon J. Span. Um,
Okay.
so lush and dark and like
Mm.
kind of creepy. Um, it gives me adult Caraval, but like
Okay.
a little more twisty.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm really
That's pretty cool.
far.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Music or audiobook or podcast wise, like what are you listening to these days?
Well, since we're in the middle of a project, definitely I'm listening to stuff. Music stuff.
I'm
Listening to
listening to
stuff.
stuff.
Stuff. Music, not podcasts right now. Which I'll go on little binges with podcasts. Usually it's like I'll see something on TikTok and I'm like, I want to
Mhm.
listen to that. And I usually will go. Anything that would pull me in, a podcast is like a true crime. Yeah, instantly. I'm going to listen and I need all the details. So, yeah, that, but music wise, right now, what would be my playlist, a lot of Lana Del Rey is currently what I'm writing to. And then I kind of mix it in with some like classical pieces. Like I never can remember the names of classical pieces because they're
Mhm.
complicated names.
They're a mile long.
A
They're
flirt
a mile long.
of
Yeah.
ode
That
to
would,
yeah.
yeah. So the classical pieces though are a little more haunting. They're not like the upbeat happy. They're a little more haunting just because of what we're writing right now is it's not a thriller, but it's a little darker than like our normal fluffy rom-coms.
Hmm. Yeah. So I'm a very eclectic listener. Like her, when it comes to podcasts, I'm an all or nothing person. I am either like binge podcasting or not
Mm-hmm.
podcasting at all. Right now, I'm in a not podcasting sliver of time.
Mm-hmm.
But if I go in, I go in hard and I'm listening to like all the episodes. But right now I am listening to music and I am very eclectic with my music taste. Like we're talking all over the board between hip hop, old school rap, 80s music. Like 80s is my jive most of the time. And then I do like old school country and some new country, and I like classical music. So I'm all over the place. But right now, I would call myself, I'm one of Ella's fellas, Ella Langley.
Yes. What
Um,
a fandom name.
it's so funny because that's what all the like blue collar guys listen to Ella and like love her, which is like, I probably because she's just like a really cute girl. And she has like this raspy voice. But right now, that's my phase of time. I'm an Ella fella listening to a lot of her songs. So,
I'm really excited for her sophomore album. Like I only started like creeping into her, I don't even want to say fandom, but I was creeping into her discography uh,
uh,
after the whole deal with like Riley Green and the You Look Like You Love Me drama. And I was like, what's this about? I think she's about to release like a new single called like Be Her or something. And I
yes,
heard a snippet. Her voice is so unique and
yes,
rich. I love it. She
yes.
actually get me more into country music. Like my husband loves country music, but I'm just kind of
Hmm.
I'll listen to it if he has it on because like I'm not gonna
Yeah.
expect his music taste, but she and oh my gosh, like obviously Casey Musgraves, but the Lainey Wilson
Yes.
and Kelsey Ballerini, they're kind of pulling me. Well, Kelsey's more like pop country, but
He's more pop country, but Lainey and Ella are that like old school, like twangy, uh,
Yeah.
country voice. And Ella, she has that rasp that is like, it's like so. But yeah, I've heard Be Heard, like it's actually out on Amazon Music now, and it's a cute song in that it's like such a cool twist on who she wants to be as the version of herself that's like in the future. So it's a really it's a good song. And I think that's why I like country music, why I dip into that fringe because it's like storytelling, you
yeah,
know?
For sure.
yeah, they're really able to just like take it to a new level, especially with
Mhm.
like the plot twists. Like I even
Yeah.
how Taylor Swift like kind of pulled one over on us in the last Great American Dynasty, and she was like, "Yeah, I kind of had to pull out those like old country music storytelling roots and be like, oh, by the way." And so,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
um, and then watching wise, again, I know you guys are on deadline like 24/7. Are you watching any TV, comfort media, uh, movies? I know me, my entire life is consumed by the traders currently and has been for
Yeah.
several weeks, but I have to limit myself on how much I talk about the traders. Like I love it so much that I applied for the normie season they're doing this season. So fingers crossed. I'd love to.
Fingers crossed. Yeah.
Um,
I love that.
I do not care if they murder me the first night. I just want to like go. And
Yeah. I love
what
that.
about you guys? Are you watching anything these days?
Um, my husband and I love watching the Love is Blind season. So there's a new one up. They just released another episode last night, but we have a toddler. So you don't always get to watch it when you want. So I'm curious because some drama went down on the latest episode.
Is it okay? So I'm not watching Love is Blind right now. I wish I was, but I haven't had the time to commit to it yet.
Yes. Yes.
And but I see all the TikTok Love is Blind drama, right? And
Yes.
the I've been laughing a lot. It's really not that funny, but he deserves it because he was supposedly talking, is his name Chris, was talking
Yes.
to his fiance about like that her appearance is like not what
He's usually with
he's
what
usually
I
with
haven't.
workout gals, the ones who do Pilates every day and like mind you, she's a like really cute
She's
girl. Not that it
beautiful.
matters anyway. Like she's so cute. And she's like a doctor, is what I saw too. Like she's like super
Very
successful.
successful. Yep.
And he
An infectious disease doctor, which is an intense
yeah.
practice.
And
Um,
but I've been enjoying everybody calling him a Keebler elf.
well, okay, I'm not like, so I haven't seen that episode yet.
And
So
like
I
I
don't
said,
know
judge
all the stuff.
appearance, but it sounds like he deserves it a lot. So
He does have like elf-like qualities because like the other episodes Peter and I were watching, and it's just like you and I like you do get like Lord of the Rings vibes. Like he is kind of elf-like. You can't really put your finger on it, but he kind of is. So yeah, like it's almost kind of sad because it's like such a cliche. Like, they say like the little man syndrome, and I don't like to put people in cliches or be stereotypical, but like apparently he just showed
living up
that.
to it. He's living up to it
He's
by
looking him up.
yeah.
I just looked up a picture of him. I see the elf accusations.
Yes, yes. He's got like elf-like qualities. Yeah.
Yes. Well,
And that's her.
exactly.
This
That's her.
gorgeous,
She's
gorgeous.
Yeah.
She's stunning. Yeah. And like highly intelligent, very compassionate. Just like you get a very genuine vibe from her. And I truly believe that's her. I mean, you see people on reality TV and you don't exactly know who they are as human beings, right? Because you can portray stuff differently. But like that's the vibes you get from her from the second she's on the screen. And I don't know. I think I don't yeah.
Just the clips
He's
of
a
her
horrible
listening to him say these things to her. She was being so like gently like she was taking it way better than I think she should have.
me too.
women are too good for this world. They
She-
put up with
She's
I know.
too good.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
the only thing I've been watching recently, just because I haven't been able to dive into anything new, I also have a 7-year-old, and his attention span to me is very, there's a lot. So I usually have just like Friends reruns on in the background. Everyone
Yeah.
will get a laugh, but I know what happens. So if I miss the entire episode, I still know where
Doesn't
we.
matter.
Yeah. No, I went to a book convention and, with the time difference, I was up later and
Mhm.
I went to sleep to Friends reruns the entire trip and
I love doing that. Yes. Yeah.
I feel like Friends white noise unintentional.
It's perfect.
Yes. Well, it's a nostalgia thing, I think, for a lot
It
of it.
is.
It's just our
Yeah.
age. I mean, well, I'm putting you in our age group. You might be much younger.
There. I will say, like, I was alive when Friends was running. My mom, now fair, I was a wee little lad, but my mom would have it on the TV at all times.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was ingrained in me. I loved it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. I loved this recap. This was so fun. I'm gonna have to see if clap music out there with like not an abysmally long title, and also I don't know who this Love Is Blind man is, but he does look like an elf. He does.
Yeah.
Whoever said that was cooking in the comments.
They were
Yes.
for sure.
So now what we're actually here for. Let's talk about you guys and your books. So obviously, like, I think a lot of people are going to ask you, how do you operate as a duo? Like, I think that question has been beaten to death, but I'm just curious, like, how did the two of you actually like come together to become a writing duo?
Yeah. Well, I mean, what we're currently writing is Fated Mates, right? So we're like the writing best friend version of that. I like that is actually how it is. We were writing on our own, self-publishing as indie authors way back in the day, like 2013. So back then Facebook was kind of the only app basically to like meet other writers. So we had met that way. We're in a couple of like writing groups through Facebook and had went to some conventions, like book signings and conventions together. And we just kind of became fast friends. Like we're very much different personalities, but there's also something about us that we kind of were kindred in a way. And I guess 2015, we were both kind of going through a hard personal season in our own lives. And for fun, we're just like, let's write a book together. And so that's what we did. And we're like, this is like the most fun we've ever had. And then here we are, a decade later, still writing together.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, it worked out for the best of a we needed a support, and that's what the other
Hmm.
person was for us, and it was meant to be a freedom project, just uh go for it all, right? How we felt, have fun. We wanted it to be this uproarious, laugh out loud, which is somewhat what we're known for at this point, like
Hmm.
60 something books deep. But at the time, it was really just what we wanted to experience. Where you said you're a mood writer, we're definitely mood writers. And we just wanted to have a lot of fun. And we, like she said, our personalities are they mesh well together if they're not the
Hmm.
same. And we have a very similar sense of humor to the point
Yeah.
we make the same jokes in books, like obscure jokes, where you're like,
Yeah.
possible that two focused on this same joke where we have to take one out because it's only funny one time. Um,
Yeah.
The same brain.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so, but and it's been great ever since. It could be a really lonely, isolating career. And
Yeah.
we have a built-in support system, and that works really well for us. But yeah, and as far as like our work kind of ethics and how we work together, even though we're different people, she's a Virgo, I'm a Capricorn, and we kind of, it's like both those earth signs are like in that same venue, and I
Yeah.
that really helps us. So,
Yeah.
I was like, it sounds like you're able to kind of feed off of each other,
Hmm.
almost like readers can't tell where the line between Max and Monroe kind of like
Yeah.
differentiate. I think that's so cool. What do you think are the qualities that come together to make, in general, an ideal co-author duo? Like, not that you think, oh, like I don't think this duo like works together, but what would you say are the signs that, yeah, this duo is going to be lethal?
I would say the number one quality, I'll see if you agree with me, is self-awareness and acceptance of change. Because
Hmm.
when you're a duo with someone, I think something that both of us do really, really well. We're not perfect people. We don't have perfect interactions with each other or with other people, or I'm not saying that at all. But we can kind of reflect um, very well on something and say, I was being this, or I'm being too stubborn on this for no reason, or yeah, you're right on that, even though I had a different opinion. We have a very collaborative relationship,
Hmm.
and I think it's really tough in this kind of job. You could be it's personal. So
Very personal.
anytime you're bringing two things together, it can be really tough if people aren't open to that, working together mindset. That's my main,
Yeah.
that it
Yeah.
is
I
going to
I
make
would agree.
you.
I think just at the foundation of it, there just is trust, right? Like if you both trust that your goal is to create the best product you can together, then you shouldn't feel anything if you write something and then your co-author changes it up a little bit. Either, maybe initially it could be like, ooh, that could take an adjustment for some people. For us, that really was never there. Like if she changed up something I had written, I would be like, that's better. Like she's doing that for a reason. This isn't an ego thing. We're creating a product together. Like this is Max Monroe, not us separately. So I think, if you are attempting to co author with somebody and it's a constant battle of you don't like when they change stuff,
Mhm.
that's probably a sign that maybe it's not meant to be. Because for us, that's always just kind of felt fluid. If anything, we've just continued to evolve into that more. But the initial book, the first book we wrote together, there were plenty of times that each of us would be writing a chapter and maybe not quite sure where to take it and be like, hey, you want to take a look at this and see if you can do something with this? And then there's relief when they do something with it and you're like, that's perfect. That should be kind of the fluid feel, I think, personally.
Yeah. Yeah.
So since y'all worked together for a long time, what
Mm-hmm.
has become your favorite thing about each other?
Oh, I mean, I think our favorite part of the process is the brainstorming process. When we get to brainstorm a book together, that's always like the most fun. So I always love the outside the box things that she can bring to the table with that. So she's yet to not surprise me in that. So I do like that. Um, and then I would say just she's very compassionate for other people, for her family. And that's pretty incredible. That's great to have somebody like that that has your back too. That definitely makes you feel safe, you know?
Mm-hmm. Thanks. No, I think I let's move on. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, she has so many great qualities as a person, but as a partner as well. She's one of the hardest workers you'll ever meet. There's no doubt in my mind that she's gonna get work done. It's not like, a group project in school where you're like, are they gonna pull their weight? Like, like she's definitely gonna pull weight. But she's also really good with attention to detail. Picking up on like little nuanced things in a story that really add to it. She's really great at that. I think we're both our best in a revision state. Um,
Mm-hmm.
like it's not that I think either of us are bad writers or good writers. I'm not even really making a commentary, but we both are really good at revisions. And seeing the whole picture. I think once we're in a story and her ability to really lock into details is top notch. Um, but like as a person too, she's really good at giving a full scope look at things. Not just like a devil's advocate thing, but like an opinion, but like also I don't know the full story, so I'm gonna reserve judgment on that. Or, but what if it was, what if that's not the case? What if the case is like this? Like she's just really good at that, I think, from a friendship, a business, but then also like in her personal life, I know obviously we're close, we talk, but like with her husband, like they're never having some like sort of fight. And then like she's like, he's such a jerk. Like, she's like, well, he was probably right about that. Or like she's really good at stepping outside of herself. So
Oh,
I
thank
don't think
you.
everybody has that quality.
Yeah. I feel like that's hard to come by these days. So props to you guys. That's awesome. Okay.
We make each other better people is what it comes down to.
Okay. So by the time the episode releases, it'll have been just about a month since the 15-minute rule came out.
Mm-hmm.
This release specifically been like for you guys as authors compared to some of your other books?
Hmm.
Well, this one was fun because while you don't need to read our first series that we ever wrote to read this series, to read the 15-minute rule, which is in the Dickson University series, it is a spin-off of our original Billionaire series way back in the day. So that has been so much fun seeing readers that have been with us from the beginning and they love that series, and then they get to see those characters again, but those characters are, the parents of these college age adults. I think that's probably been the most fun part related to this release. So it was definitely different in that way. There was a lot of nostalgia involved in it.
Mhm. I agree with that. I also think it's just been a pretty low stress release for us because
Mm-hmm.
I think parts of it are probably tied into that nostalgia, but also we've kind of like doing the personal work, if you will, of like trying to give ourselves the space and grace to not stress ourselves out to like
Yeah.
over every single thing in our job and the world and whatever. We've kind of both reached an attitude point of like, let's not suffer, so
Yeah.
I think we've really tried to adjust our attitudes enough that this has been pretty low stress, and that's been really nice too.
That's been
I
really
just let
nice.
it
Yeah.
happen, which was gonna happen regardless, by the way. Is how
Yes.
every book is. You're really not in control, no matter
Mhm.
how badly you want to be. But we actually accepted that this time, and so it was
Yeah,
pretty
we did. Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Uh, So people have been waiting on Ace's story in particular, for a long
Yes.
time, it seems. What about the character do you think makes him so compelling to your readership?
nice.
Well, he's Thatch's son.
Uh,
So Thatch is kind of a, you know, cult favorite, cult favorite, but like he is, like, he is just this larger than life character, always has been. So readers wanted to see what his son was like, which I completely understand. I did too. Um, and he is like Thatch, but he's also Ace. So yeah, I mean, I think the way that Ace goes about life is what makes him so captivating. Realizing he's in love with his best friends, and they were friends since little kids. And he, instead of just telling her, he has decided he's going to convince her to fall in love with him. That was the key. If I just make her fall in love with me, then it'll all be good.
Mhm.
Um, so I think in Thatch has his own kind of vulnerabilities, which is part of the reason why readers love him, even if they don't realize it. Because he's the one, he's this big guy, this kind of macho guy, but he has no problems crying over like a romance book.
Mhm.
So I think getting to see Ace's vulnerable side, because obviously the whole reason is because he just was too scared to put himself out there and tell her. So we instead of
It's a
just going
very
from point A.
backwards way to do something.
Yeah,
And I think
yeah.
that's the fun part of this series being college age kids versus like, we write a lot of
Yeah,
like late 30s, 40-year-olds. And the maturity levels and the expectation of how they handle a situation is different. And that's what's fun about a college situation is, yeah, it's a little bit of a backwards way to fall in love
yes,
with someone is to just decide to just try to convince them instead of actually just, sharing feelings to take the weight off, but it makes for a fun book, and it's
yeah,
really fitting of Ace and his DNA, which yes, I think is a lot of his father and his mother is also, a little on the wild side. So I think that really translates in the way he handled
for
things.
sure.
Love that. And I love the mention of you guys saying, like, yeah, normally we write, a little bit of an older age category. So it's been fun to see the differences with writing a college story. How long do you guys plan to stay in this like college literary universe for all of us like
Mhm.
new adult fiends?
Yeah. I mean, I think we definitely have ideas for quite a few more books in the series. Um, so it's just a matter of when we can fit those releases in, because we've got a few traditional books that are, in traditional contracts. So we're not going to be able to continue it as soon as we had hoped, but the plan is to continue it. It's just
Win.
working out the schedule with it.
It's
Yeah.
just the wins of, legalities and when we're
Yeah.
do things kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
and we love the world. It is a fun departure for us. I think it's a fun departure for readers too, but it's a fun departure for us to be able to write characters and make different decisions because
Yeah.
it's a totally different phase of life. Um, so we've
Yeah.
really, really enjoyed it. And we do, like she said, we have quite a few books that could take place in this series, at least theoretically. It's just a matter of when they're going to be slotted in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for all of our listeners, because a lot of the listeners of this podcast, they either like want to be writers or they are pursuing the different paths of publishing. So it sounds like you guys have more of like a hybrid career.
Hmm.
Explain a little bit more about how that operates. How you said, like, yes, you've got traditional contracts in place, but you have these other books. Like, explain just from your personal experience what the journey is like of being a hybrid author.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, I think I like how we did it for us, right? So we weren't seeking traditional contracts until about is it going on 2 years ago now? Yeah,
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Um, Prior to that, we had never even really entertained it. So by the time we did, we knew ourselves as writers. So we knew, you know, what we're willing to collaborate on and what we're simply not. And a better understanding of our process. Like you can kind of feel pressure when you hear what other people say their process is, and you're like, that's not our process. So you could have insecurity about that if you're going to take on a traditional contract, and you might even make the mistake of trying to make your process something that it's not. So we were very aware of who we were as a duo and as writers.
Mhm.
So when we decided to pursue traditional contracts, we came to the table confident in ourselves and how we do things, what doesn't work for us, and what we're willing to collaborate on. I do think that's important. That doesn't mean that you can't do that as a first time author. You might feel that as a first time author. But for us, it was the right time.
Mhm.
And then in terms of traditional versus indie, I mean, they're different experiences, but not at the same time. We are at the advantage of already doing collaboration. That's just our natural thing. So if you're not a duo and you get in a traditional contract, that can be a new experience. Like the collaboration process, when they're going through like developmental edits and they're giving you suggestions that you maybe don't agree with or do agree with. So I would say that's, kind of, yeah, that's kind of our experience. Do you have anything that you think stands
Yeah,
out?
I think for us, like you said, it was never really on our radar to be a hybrid author this time period in our career. Um, and we've still had a very focused target with those things. Like we pick specific projects that we feel are a good fit for
Yeah.
traditional market or um, something that we're hoping to get out of it in the collaborative process with a publisher. We also are maybe a little bit different from some people in that we work with multiple publishers. We're not just with one traditional publisher, we're with multiple traditional publishers, and that's a whole other song and dance. If you're gonna go that route, I think it has a lot of advantages, and that's why we did it because each experience has a different benefit or a different part that maybe works well for a project. Um, but we have to coordinate those things. So if that's something that you're gonna keep in mind, you have to juggle that working for everyone. Everything has to work for everyone. So
Yes.
sometimes what's going to happen is maybe you're expecting that you're going to release something at a certain time and then it's going to be not releasing at that time. It's going to release at a very different time that works for all of the scheduling. And I think that's something for us with the Dickson University series that wasn't a first plan, right? If we would have visualized that we would have our timing would have been different, but that's not the way it worked out because we are a hybrid scenario where we are going with what works best for everyone. And I think everybody's going to be really excited because we've had the opportunity to do some different kinds of projects that
Mm-hmm.
I think are really, they have some really standout potential in that they're different. And publishers have been willing to run with us on them, and we're really excited about it. So, yeah, I mean, I can't say anything bad about the process, but like Monroe said, is that if you're not used to collaboration, it's probably harder to get used to someone else in your business.
Mm-hmm.
But we're used to someone in our business all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now I have to be nosy. These like different projects that they're letting you run.
Yeah.
Anything that you can tease about it at all?
Mhm.
All very hush hush.
Well, there's one that will come out in January of 2027. And I don't know what I can say about it. um, it's definitely contemporary romance, but it has a very twisty aspect to it. And you're kind of getting two different stories simultaneously, and you don't quite know what to believe. And then what happens, you will not expect it at all. Like
Mhm.
it just, you won't.
Mhm.
Now, the thing we love about that book is if you would go back and read that book again after you read it, then you would start being able to see,
Yes. It's
oh,
a first read and a second read of that book are going to be entirely different experiences.
yes,
Entirely
yes,
different. I think it's almost
yes,
like a given that you have to go back and read it a second time, because it is an entirely different experience the second time you read it. So
yes,
that's been really fun and a boon of having a publisher to work with on it. Because as you can imagine, as an author of a project like that, to be outside of yourself enough to be reading it
mm-hmm.
for the first time when you are the creator of a story, very hard, very hard.
Very
So,
hard.
so that's where it's been a really great project to be working with a publisher on because we have that to our advantage. There is someone who is a first time reader, so we get to have that perspective as well as the second time reader. And I really think it's going to be one of those where it is like you mandatory second read because it's a totally different experience.
Yeah, yeah, because it's all in, like all the Easter eggs are in there.
Mhm.
So that it was fun. That was it's such a fun project.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
just like that. I like if I can catch the Easter eggs, that's so cool, but also you don't know what to look for. Oh my God.
Yes,
Immediately
yes.
understand. It's next year. It's on my mental TBR.
Yes.
Reading books almost like out of spite to see, oh, I can figure that out. I never can. I think I'm just so used to, like the traditional plot lines so that when there is a curveball, I'm like, oh, shoot. And then I'm in their DMs like, you did it. Good. Especially readers like me. We're going to eat that up. So I'm very, very excited. Thank you for teasing a little bit about that project.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys, this has been so fun. I was talking to
It's
you guys
been so fun.
about how we were originally supposed to do this interview um many, many moons ago, only because
Yes.
we had it scheduled during the ice storm that
Yes.
the continental US. So I'm glad you guys are safe. I'm glad your internet and your power is back.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine having my kid home from school that many days, not during the summer break. So power to y'all. Y'all are brave.
Yes. two
Yeah.
weeks 2 weeks my kids were home.
Yeah. She had it the worst. Mine was not that bad of a situation. You definitely had it the worst.
Mhm.
Yeah. But before we go, please tell our listeners a little bit about where they can find you, whether that's your website, if you guys are going to any upcoming events, social media, all that good stuff.
Mhm.
Well, our website can lead you everywhere. So authormaxmonroe.com that has all of our social media links and stuff. I would say we're the best if you want to send us a message. There are two places that are ideal, and Instagram would definitely be one of them.
We're
Now
not
that
perfect,
doesn't
but we're best there.
we're best there. And then email, which you can find that on our website. And then, yeah, I mean, we're on all those social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, not really X. We don't
No,
really post there.
we're like there, but we don't,
We're
we're
not
not.
really there. And then we'll have a book tour coming up in July, most likely. That's our release with Entangled. So Where I Should Have Been, that's the third book in the Redbridge series, which we're very excited about that one.
Oh my gosh.
Sheep Farmer Tad,
That
and all
book
of his
is better than I ever could have dreamed that it would be.
yeah,
It's honestly all I can say. There's a lot of pressure in a series that I feel like we've been really, really proud of too. But the third book lives up. I mean, obviously I'm biased, but I'm telling you, I'm really happy with how it turned out.
yeah,
So,
me too. And possibly, some stuff in January for the, twisty
mhm.
contemporary romance. So yeah, I will. The main character's name is in that is Alexander Hawthorne.
Mhm.
So you'll know when you see a title.
Mhm.
Um, very yeah. So that's probably July and January. We'll probably have some book tours going on. Otherwise, we don't have any signing events um planned this year.
No, we've just got a schedule full of writing, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Schedule too.
yeah.
Love the fact that these hypothetical potential tours are July and January because that is my birthday and my half birthday. So little
I love that.
to all my listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. This was so much fun. And until next time, I will see you guys in the next one.